everybody, I have got a cracker of a pattern for you today. It is a buzzer or chironomid called Derek's Destroyer. Now Derek Cross is chairman of the Hertfordshire branch of the Fly Dressers Guild. It's a guild I used to be a member of and he's a good friend of mine. And he came up with this pattern many years ago, a number of years ago, I care not to remember now, but when he did, the trout went nuts for it. Derek caught well over 100 trout that year on this pattern. Other members of the Hertfordshire Fly Dressers Guild had similar success on it, and I want to share it with you. So in the vise we have a Togens Nymph Competition Barbless in size 12. As you can see, I've got black thread ready to go. That will be the body and the thorax, and the rib and cheeks of the fly is going to be orange hollow tinsel, and really that's it. So let's crack on and give this one a tie. You want to make a nice bed of thread. The buzzers in the UK tend to be tied slim. You can bulk them up if you want to, but I prefer mine slim. And we take that thread in nice even touching turns, using that tag end just to slide the thread wraps next to each other down to about the bend in the hook. You can go a bit into the bend if you want to, and then bring the thread in touching turns back up. This is 12/0 thread, so I can afford to go up and down several times, knowing I'm not going to be adding too much bulk to the body of the fly. Okay, so we take a strip of hollow orange tinsel and tie that in at the head of the fly. Make sure you catch it in nicely, and then take the thread back down, covering all of the orange tinsel. And I like to tie my materials eye to bend just because it gives you more control over them. If you're coming up from the bend to the eye, thread wraps tend to push materials where you don't want them to go. It's harder to maintain that control. So if you can afford to add an extra layer of thread just so that you can tie from the eye down to the bend as much as possible, then do it, because it just allows you to put those materials where you want them, safe in the knowledge they are going to stay there. Right, so the golden rule of buzzers is proportions. 2/3 of the hook shank need to be the body, 1/3, it's all approximate, but 2/3 body, 1/3 thorax. So we've got the body there. I'm now going to wrap up the hollow tinsel in open turns to form a rib. And you're only really going to get 2 or 3 here, but that's not too much of an issue. So just keep twisting to make sure they're even. There we go. Get the thread out of the way. There we go, bring that up there. And bring that over just slightly, just to make it easier to tie off. A couple of wraps behind, a couple of wraps in front. And then I like to take this back up to the eye because we're going to build a slightly bulbous thorax. So we may as well use the hollow tinsel to add bulk to the thorax. But then when you've got there, snip that off. Okay, so we're going to add bulk to that thorax, but first of all, there you go, as you can see we're already getting there. First of all, we're going to tie in the cheeks, which is more hollow tinsel. My side first, and I like to use the weight of the bobbin. So I pull the thread over the top using the weight of the bobbin just to hold the material for me and allow me to position it where I want it before I give another couple of thread wraps to secure it in place. And you want this material just on the bottom half of the side. Excuse fingers, I know you can't see what I'm doing here. I'm just positioning that where I want it, tying it in, securing it down, And then you do need to hold these because, as I said, thread wraps will maneuver material where you don't want it to be if you're not in control. So take both strands, make sure they're lined up, hold them against the hook shank, there we go, so that they aren't moved by the tension of the thread wraps as you tie down that material. Right, there we go, slightly bulbous thorax, just what we need. And it's just a question of bringing the cheeks forwards. I'll do my side first. And I'll do your side. And you just want them, if you can, angling up slightly. Like that. Pull it tight. Wraps to secure. Wraps in front. Just those locking wraps. A couple more wraps behind. There we go. And then we snip off the excess. As close as you can, because we want to make a tiny head on this. If your scissors are fine enough, you can just nick the edge of the hollow tinsel, and then that will allow you to pull the rest of it, which gives you a neater cut. Okay, but if you've done what I've done and left a little tag end, don't worry, just fold it back with your fingernails, like that, and then you can get the thread wraps over the top. The trouble with fine, the good thing about fine thread is it doesn't build up bulk. The bad thing about fine thread is it doesn't build up bulk at the head when you want to hide something you've done wrong. And that's it, whip finish. You only need one whip finish here because the final piece of the jigsaw for the Derek's Destroyer is a coat of resin or 3 coats of varnish to give it that nice sheen, help it sink. I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do that off camera. Tie these up, they are absolutely lethal. Reach out through Togens, find me on Instagram, let me know how you get on. You can of course mix up the hollow tinsel colours, but Derek's Destroyer is black and orange is a colour combination that trout go nuts for. Hopefully it gives you some success on the water, and I will see you next time. Thanks.